Titanic re-released in 3D 2012 for the 100th anniversary of the sinking of the Titanic. Oh my god, people only dream about writing a script like this. The Titanic, gorgeous cinematography. It's a combination of a great romantic drama mixed with the sinking of the Titanic, one of the most famous sink ships of all time. I was lucky enough to see this when I was 10 years old in '97, and it was amazing seeing it for the first time in theater. And it was just as amazing seeing it 15 years later for the re-release in 3D. So beautiful when you see the Titanic for the first time. And the opening scene, as we know, Bill Paxton, who is in every single freaking '90s movie ever, plays the treasure hunter, looking through the wreckage of the Titanic, looking for a specific diamond, the heart of the ocean as they call it. And from what I heard, oh my god, I went on a binge at the start of the winter this year watching all the documentaries of the Titanic. You could see plenty hours of footage of Titanic documentaries. Anything you want to know, check it out on YouTube. Someone made a channel dedicated to the sinking of the Titanic and other white shoreline boats. Anyway, you gotta remember, a lot of the people on the Titanic, they had like all their possessions with them. Everyone in third class was pretty much moving to America who was on the ship. And then of course all the rich people definitely brought a bunch of elegant stuff. And over the years, it wasn't even discovered until 1985. And since then, it's deteriorated a hell of a lot more. It's gotten even more rusty in the past quarter century. One day it'll be completely deteriorated, but they've gotten thousands of artifacts on there that you could see. And there's even one where they film documentary missions of picking up artifacts there. And they bring up a bunch of great stuff. Dishes with the White Shoreline logo on it. It's amazing. You gotta check it out. And what else? Yeah, so Bill Paxton, he opens the chest and he thinks it's a bust at first, and he sees the painting of a girl with a diamond necklace, as we know. And then he looks at the date, and it was April 15th, 1912, the night of the sinking of the Titanic, and she's actually wearing the necklace that he was looking for, and he's like, alright, I might have some here. And then we pretty much know what happens from there. He meets up with the old Rose, and she flies in there on a helicopter to the spot of the sinking of the Titanic. And she was 17 at the time, so she's like 101 now, and 97 or whatever. And then one of the best scenes of the movie is when she starts the story about how she saw the Titanic for the first time, and they go down below the ocean floor, and it shows the Titanic coming to life. That scene is so gorgeous. And it's a great way to introduce the drifter, Leonardo DiCaprio's character, how he won the ticket to the Titanic in a poker game. Pretty much sums up his adventurous life. Great character. Everyone falls in love with this character. I think he gets deuces full of fours or something. I don't even remember. I've tried to rewind it in slow-mo. You tell me. And Leonardo DiCaprio, he's totally Leonardo DiCaprio'd out, just like in all his movies from the late '90s. Don't get me wrong, I love his acting, but in those earlier roles, he puts so much of his own personality into the characters, almost an overdose of his personality, like his Romeo and Juliet role, and the beach role, and the Man in the Iron Mask. And he's terrible at points throughout, but no, I'm not gonna bark on him. It's a solid job. You're supposed to play the pretty boy that's unaware of anything but himself and the girl in front of him. And Kate Winslet, Oh my god, she's beautiful. She's just a freak of nature for being an inbred British girl. I mean, I heard she like stalked James Cameron for this role. Like she even sent him roses and stuff, and you're like, what the? And then Billy Zane's amazing performance as the villain slash asshole stuck up douchebag of the movie. You always need that third wheel for every romantic drama. And he nailed it throughout. It's a chilling performance, really. And the cinematography of this movie is just stunning throughout. James Cameron brought the Titanic back to life, and you know, the sinking of the Titanic, filming that's not easy. I remember watching Entertainment Tonight back when I was like 9 years old, 10 years old, like updates of the Titanic and whatnot. And they'd be like, oh, it's being pushed back, and they'd be on set behind the scenes, and it would be pretty dope. Following it on Entertainment Tonight and whatnot, everyone was into that movie before it even came out. And then, yeah, the sinking of the Titanic was filmed beautifully. It's just awesome. 10 times better than A Night to Remember, obviously. And the soundtrack is just classic. It really fits the tone of the movie. You know what I'm saying. And then they play the infamous Celine Dion song for the credits. And it just lets you savor the moment. It's just amazing. You cannot say enough about I'm going to go over some other of my favorite scenes. The dinner scenes, where they show the elegance of the dinery and the first class patrons, see their lifestyle. They really dive into both ends of the spectrum with the third class, the first class. You gotta love those scenes, and it really feels like you're on the Titanic. It's awesome. And then later that night, I also like the last sunset, where they show the Titanic getting its last sunset before it hits the iceberg later that night. And then Rose turns to Jax and she's like, after the boat docks in New York, I'm getting off with you. So many chilling poetic lines that just intertwine with the romance and the sinking of the Titanic. It's just beautiful. Just amazing script, you cannot say enough. And the ending, oh my god, better than when the two old people die in the Notebook and it's revealed that she's the girl and whatnot in the Notebook, and they end up dying together, and it's equal to the ending of Atonement. And if you've seen those two, maybe you know what I'm talking about. Two of the best romantic dramas of the last 20 years. It's just amazing. When the old Rose drops the Heart of the Ocean diamond into the ocean at the site of the Titanic, and she lays down to her deathbed and finally reunites with Jack, and it goes beneath the ocean, and the Titanic comes alive for one last memory, and she reunites with Jack at the staircase with the rest of the cast all there. And then they start to play the theme, and it's just beautiful. Exactly like this, except for this is the techno remix. Anyway, this is JBM. Couldn't say enough about this movie. It's once in a lifetime kind of movie. You could only dream of coming up with a script like this, like I was saying.